Welcome to the XS Manchester studios, Liam.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. In our palace of steel and glass in Spinningfields.
I've had a delightful lunch.
What did you have?
At the cafe below, I had a New Yorker panini, flat white, and some salted crisps.
We were talking earlier about your love for Fisherman's Friends.
I do.
Any Fisherman's Friends involved?
Yeah, I've got some aniseed Fisherman's Friend. They were my, is it the aperitif? I don't know. But the pharmacy across the road from where I live. I went recently, fancied a Fisherman's Friend. I was feeling a bit throaty there, and was just confronted by a smorgasbord of flavours. And
they've diversified.
Yeah, they have. It's not the what's the classic one that they have? I can't remember anymore. It's certainly not aniseed.
Just horrible. They went the horrible flavour that they have. Standard horrible Fisherman's Friends.
I tweeted them, and they were quite quick to ask if I wanted to try some of their new sugar-free spearmint. I gladly took the spearmint is my choice of mint. So, but yeah, like the main Fisherman's Friend tastes of only Fisherman's Friend, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how well. You sound like a man who's talking from experience.
I'm a guy that's lost my voice a lot.
Okay. The new album will no doubt be sponsored by Fisherman's Friends going forwards.
I'll be taking them on the merch.
Right. Well, we're having a chat because this is going to be like a musical version of This Is Your Life.
Okay. That
we're going to do, which we're going to play some tunes. We're going to have a chat about those tunes as well. So it seems sensible to start with a tune and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, sure.
Because you've got a new album coming out in September. We're starting to hear some tunes off that album now as we speak, and the first of those is Pomona.
Yeah, so I'll talk about Pomona here, I guess. So yeah, Pomona is the first song that I probably wrote for the album. It's been presented in a couple of different guises already in terms of the arrangement that's around it. Quite a lot of people spoke about kind of why I'd choose the name of a tram stop.
Yeah, which is exactly what I thought when I saw the name Pomona. I was like,
exactly.
He's picked a tram stop. He's not even picked a good tram stop. Should have gone for St Peter's Square or something, one of the nice ones.
It's one of my favourites down the way to the Lowry there. But I'm more fascinated with the island Pomona that sort of sits between Salford and Trafford, and I used it as a very sort of loose geographical metaphor to sort of describe the dividing force in a relationship that was quite close to me, I suppose, trying to like skirt around without mentioning any names, but yeah, that was exactly what it was. So it was written about the breakdown of a relationship through like kind of the various people involved in it.
Right, we'll take it away. This is the new tune from Liam Frost, Pomona.
Fix my gaze quick in the wind, turn my heels again, walk away. My starving eyes had swallowed all. The devil's on his way, the devil's on his way. And oh, my fumbled words rise up, serpentine, the narrow margins I have built, these solid lines. I am now caught between a hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more, I hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more. So turn the soil, repay the cost, some sense from all you've lost, a fleur-de-lis. We'll take its root, I search for you. So funny what desire does. And oh, my fumbled words rise up, a serpentine, the time it took to take my time to dull my tongue. Give me red wine and sertraline, I hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more, I hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more, I hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more, I hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more, I hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more, I hold my heart open spine, I hold my heart out for more.
It's a great tune, Liam, and I think it's going to satisfy a lot of the fans you've had since the early days, for those last 15 years, because to me it sounds the most like the early stuff than anything I've heard you do since.
This was a real... this whole writing process was a real dive back into my record collection, and it's primarily comprised of, you know, really great Americana and songwriter music. Lots of stuff like R.E.M. and Whiskey Town, which is Ryan Adams' old band, who we can't really talk about now as much because of everything that's gone on in his life. And yeah, I mean, Pomona in particular was hugely inspired by Out of Time era R.E.M. and really sounded like one of the songs off that album initially, and just tried it in various sort of different guises. So there was, in the original Latchkey Kid sessions, where there was like kind of a band, we almost gave it like this bizarre like funk feel, and it was great, but it didn't work. And then got to the recording of it. So we did the album at Parr Street Studios.
Yeah.
Over 2 days, and the bones of it was recorded in that time live to tape. And the first morning we didn't have an arrangement for Pomona, but I had an idea of kind of where I wanted it to go. And I was thinking of like The Chain, Fleetwood Mac, that sort of like builds to a crescendo sort of thing. And yeah, that's exactly where this came from.
It feels like a very honest song, and you said earlier it's about something that happened
to
you personally, or people that were close to you.
Yeah, people very close to me.
Is that when you write best, when you're you're laid bare, when you're being honest and writing from here?
From experience, and that's perhaps kind of one of the reasons that I don't have I want to say I don't have the highest output in the world, but 4 albums and a couple of EPs over since 2006, 13 years.
4 more than I've written.
It's not so bad. It used to be that bands would release albums every 3 years, and now it seems to be like half the time.
But that must be pressure from record labels that leads to that. That must be keeping that chain, that kind of music coming, and it's only when you get to a status of someone like Arctic Monkeys where you can go and take 5 years off. It's
that visibility thing of just like, it's the reason that bands will now be more concerned about consistent releasing singles rather than putting out a record, because it kind of gives you that, you know, unending visibility. Because the minute that you're out, it's like if you don't post on Instagram for a day or so, everyone thinks you're on holiday. And it's just sad, but it's a necessity, isn't it? I suppose
completely.
It's a necessity.
I asked you to pick a song that you loved, and I asked you to pick a song from the very beginning of your career as well. And I was really surprised that you picked one song that kind of straddled both those sides of it, because the song that you pick as your favourite is the song that I'd probably pick as my favourite tune of yours, and I think a lot of people that like your music would probably pick as their favourite song of yours.
Yeah.
So I'd assume that because of that very nature, it would have like a James and sit down kind of relationship. In that you've kind of grown tired of it and don't like playing it as much.
No, I mean the Mourners of St Paul is it's a really, really special song to me. It was written in the small bedroom of my mum and dad's house when obviously it was just my mum, given the subject matter of the song, and I'd already signed my first record deal. So when I signed with La Volta, I had 6 songs maybe that made that record. So there wasn't even an album's worth, and I was demoing stuff in that little bedroom, and it was freezing, and I'd never approached like that part of my life, I suppose, at any point, because it happened. My dad's death happened when I was very young, and there's a sort of I guess, to not turn this too much into kind of like a therapist chair sort of situation, like a very deep compartmentalization of those feelings, and I kept them that way for the entire time, I suppose, up until the writing of that song. And it started with there was a song by Nine Black Alps at the time called Unsatisfied, and it had this thing where like that sort of thing, and I had that, and I had the little ascending guitar part, the dum 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 dum, and the lyrics just came out. I mean, it was one of those that came out in minutes, and then I was meeting the A&R in Manchester that night, and burnt the disc of it, and it was called, I think I just called it Bluebird or something, and said, "I'll take that with you. It's just something I've demoed." And he was like, "Oh, well, Jesus Christ, that's really something."
Was it therapy a little bit, writing that song?
Singing therapy, like, because I throw so much of myself into it. It's like it's a very physical process for me, and as a consequence, that's why I have to take as many fisherman's friends as I do, because I lose my voice a lot. But yeah, absolutely, like there's a real catharsis to it, and as we've said, like that connection with the people that follow my music is always kind of the biggest part of what I do, to be able to help, like, to kind of let people know that they're not alone in what it is that they're feeling. Someone else is feeling it, and if we can all share that together, then that's an incredible thing, to not be too hippie about it. But the stories that I've heard off the back of that coming out, of people that have lost people in their lives, that have found their own sort of catharsis in it, is kind of a big part of the process for me. And to be, because I largely go out and play totally solo shows, you become really accustomed to reading a room, and kind of getting a vibe of what's going on. And yeah, I feel a real catharsis in doing it. It's very communal almost.
Well, it's always a pleasure to hear this song, so take it away, Mourners of St Paul.
Let the sky grow dark with a heavy heart. Let the funeral start. Let the funeral start. Suddenly it seems love was just a dream on a TV screen, in a magazine. Mother, please hold on. Brother, please be strong. Yeah, they played a song. We all sang along. I see trees of green, red roses too, scattered out for you on a gravestone new. 12 years older, can't stay sober, and there's a bluebird in my heart that's caged and it won't sing. So fill your bloodlines up with bourbon, kid, and this won't sting. It's like the slowing of your senses just might solve something. Let the mourners of St. Paul's lead the parade. Suddenly it seems I'm settled in my old routines. Another year is gone. I still sing the same sad song. And when that snow is finally clear, I'm gonna run away from here and wake my father's bones, drag his ghost into the road. This house could hold nothing but melody so somber, such miserable memories. 3 cheers for love of the simplest kind. Let's drink to all that we've left behind. Suddenly it seems I'm settled in my old routines. Another year's gone. I still sing the same sad song. Let the sky grow dark with a heavy heart. Let the funeral start. Let the funeral start.
One of the early songs from you, Liam, Mourners of St Paul's.
Yeah.
Beautiful tune. What do you remember from the early days of that song being written and recorded and released, and the kind of the scrum that kind of formed around you at that time?
Yeah. The recording of that album was a great period. We recorded in a studio called Battery in Willesden Green in London, and it's quite famously known as having the compound, the house on the compound that was Silvertone Records that Stone Roses signed to, and it was now just kind of a house that they used for bands to stay in. That were recording, and we all the Slowdown stayed in this house with smashed up windows that was on one of the
This
notoriously
doesn't
most
sound
violent parts of London.
It's not sounding as glamorous as I thought it might do.
Well, you know what? There's that side of it, but then every now and then you'd run out the studio and Natalie and Bruley would be there doing a writing session, and there was just a bizarre sort of bunch of events that happened. So I went to South by Southwest for a day, flew out from London to Austin, and then flew back and was back for Monday on no sleep recording.
How old were you at this point?
I was 22,
Okay.
21, 22. So, and then I think the same day that I got back from South by Southwest, we did like an audition for Jules Holland, like in the studio. So the marketing people at the label said, well, we're recording at the minute, could you come in? And we had to craft this PA system out of like bass cabinets, and it sounded bloody awful, like really bad. And as a result, we didn't really end up on Jules, but there was just all these events kind of unfolding. And yeah, Mourners, yeah, I mean, it's the song speaks for itself, but the recording of it, I guess there's bits that in retrospect I'd possibly changed now. Like,
Really?
Obviously it's got that, like the whole thing of the Slowdown had this like Arcade Fire kind of like, rabble rousing thing about it, and the gang shouts on it now for me sound a little bit children's choir.
Okay.
But then I've not really listened to the album in a long time. Like the first time I listened to the whole album was when we did the Slowdown reunion shows, and I had to relearn some songs that I'd just not played for a really long time. So listening back, it just feels vaguely masturbatory to listen to my own music. It's like, I guess, something that Mick Hucknall would do.
What do you do when you're playing guitar or picking up an instrument at home then? I always wondered this. Like, if you're a musician and you've got guitars around your house, because if you're play a guitar, you like to pick up a guitar. It's kind of part of your life,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
therapy. Do you not play your own stuff? Will you ever play your own stuff, or is it just a case of you just noodle about or find things you want to learn, or how does that work then?
Yeah, I mean, I never really play any of my own stuff, and I'm not the most kind of I'm not very good at just like doing whatever on guitar. Like I couldn't go into a guitar shop and start playing like a solo or some scales or something. I'm not the most theory-minded guitarist in the world, and while I've got certain things that I can do that look really impressive, it's all quite rigid. So usually be some sort of joke song, some like country lick that I've taught myself that I can only play that and nothing else. And you know, I don't pick it up that much. I'm more likely to.
Does it feel like work when you do?
No. It just kind of stays on the shelf, and then when it kind of comes to writing or like learning a song. So, for example, one of the songs I'm going to play today, I just crack on with it and bed down. But I'm more interested in kind of something that I absolutely can't do. So a lot of the songs from this record came from the piano because I cannot play it. Like I can't at all. Got an idea of the theory of it and, you know, how it works, and I can just play the sort of imagine John Lennon, like very basic stuff. So songs like Smoke from the record and Going Steady, the first track on the album, were all from piano. So yeah, I think it's a thing of just pushing myself to just. There's a simplicity that comes with playing something for the first time because you're just literally scratching around trying to find the chords. Can't noodle. So I think the simplicity of playing what I'm playing on the piano then translates to the song. It kind of gives an honestness, like a naivety, I suppose, and I think that's something that people can kind of buy into.
As you hinted at there, I asked you to prepare a cover version
that we're
going to do now. What did you pick?
I picked 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins. So around the time that I started learning to play the guitar, I was like maybe 13 years old, and I had one guitar lesson through my school, and the guitar teacher broke his back, and the music service took the guitar lessons away. So I was like, well, what am I going to do now? So around that time, you used to be able to buy these little A5 books of like Oasis or Bon Jovi or like Blur, and I had an Oasis one, and kind of like I didn't even know all of the songs at this point. I think I had What's the Story, Morning Glory, and maybe didn't have Definitely Maybe, I don't know. And I just started learning from that. And I think that the real lightning rod, like my elder brother, he's about 6 years older than me, and he was sort of a lot of the music that came through his wall, then by osmosis, sort of latched onto me, and so I was like had a C90 cassette of Nirvana and Pearl Jam, like in 92, 93 maybe. But I remember watching the chart show one morning in 95 or 96, and 1979 was on, and I was just like, who are these bizarre looking people? And I don't know, there's a nostalgia to this song, I think, and I'm a sucker for it. It's like the reason that I'll sit up late at night watching old WWF or something like. And I think it's a big part of all people's kind of. It's the reason that people go and watch the Spice Girls at the Etihad. It's like nostalgia, isn't it? Because you're buying into.
It's a weird comparison, but I understand the comparison.
Yeah, sure. And I think it's the reason that people really latch onto my first record and say they prefer it over other things that I've released, because I've got a following that's grown with me.
Yeah,
I've sort of skipped a generation to get to this record.
People always
now.
like the band's debut albums, don't they? It's just a fact, isn't it? Because it's the thing they first bonded with.
Yeah, they first got into, and I think that's the case. So that's where it is with the Smashing Pumpkins for me, and I've always loved them since seeing them on the chart show and getting into Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. And it fast forwards to 2008, and I'm recording my second album in New York in James Iha from the Smashing Pumpkins studio, and just being like, this is the guitar that he played at Glastonbury '97. I can't believe I'm touching this. And just those odd things that kind of happen through music, I suppose. He loved us because we brought boxes of Yorkshire tea over to America with us, and would make him cups of tea, and he'd buy us like fruit pastels and dairy milks from the deli really close to where he lives in Chelsea. I guess he still lives there. And that's why I picked it. I love this band. I love that song.
Shake it down, 1979. Cool kids never have the time. On a live wire ride or off our street, you and I should meet. June book skipping like a stone, with our headlights pointed at the dawn. We were sure we'd never see an end to it all. And I don't even care to shake these zipper blues. And we don't know just where our bones will rest to dust, I guess, forgotten and absorbed to the earth below. Double cross the vacant and the bored, they're not sure just what we have in store. Morphine city slipping dews down a sea that we don't even care. Restless as we are, we feel the pull in a land of 1,000 guilts and some men lamented and assured to the lights and towns below, faster than the speed of sound, faster than we thought we'd go, beneath the sound of hope. Justine never knew the rules, hung down with the freaks and ghouls. Apologies never need be made. I know you better than you fake it to see that we don't even care to shake these zipper blues. And we don't know just where our bones will rest to dust, I guess, forgotten and absorbed to the earth below. The street heats the urgency of now. As you see, there's no one around.
Were you always into grunge? Was that something that appealed to you?
Yeah, so first record I kind of learned to sing to, I suppose, was the Michael Jackson Bad album. And I listened to it on a record deck in my mum and dad's bedroom, and I used to like sing along to it. And on the inside gatefold of that record, there's loads of like still images of Michael Jackson in various dance positions, and I remember mimicking them in the bedroom, just looking ridiculous. And my brother's room being next door, and that classic thing of just never being allowed into your elder brother's room or your elder sister's room, whatever the case might be. And this would have been, I don't know, 89, 90, I suppose. And my brother had quite a wide range of musical tastes and genres and what have you. And I remember him having a collection called The Deep Heat. It was like dance music. So I was like, oh, I hear that quite a lot. Not for me. Although he did have that original version of Candy Staton, You Got the Love, like from the Hacienda era, I suppose. But then coming through stuff like Guns N' Roses, and then I guess the alternative rock of that time, grunge. And one of the first tapes that my brother made for me was a C90 of Nevermind. On one side, not even finished, like it skipped off like the last tracks maybe, I think.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, Verses by Pearl Jam. So it's like really kind of early experience. And we had this VHS cassette of REM Unplugged, like the first REM Unplugged, which is great. It was just reissued recently. Pearl Jam Unplugged and Nirvana Unplugged. And I used to sit and just watch that all the time, and that was my education. Like REM in particular were a really big one for me.
The idea of C90 cassettes being shared, I really relate to that. The way I found Oasis, which was kind of the first band that I truly loved, was Oasis, was a friend of mine at school, a guy called John Peddy, I remember his name, gave me a cassette because I really liked Harry Connick Jr.
Oh, nice.
And he recorded me a Harry Connick Jr. album on a C90.
The blueprint for Michael Bublé.
And there was a little bit of space on the end, and he recorded the first few tracks of Definitely Maybe onto that.
Great.
And I was like, that's much
Done.
better.
Yeah.
That speaks to me much more than Harry Connick Jr. talking about moons or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. That period of Oasis, I remember reading about them. My brother used to buy Select magazine and like kind of, maybe not the NME as such, but the Q maybe. A lot of those like indie magazines of the day, and reading about the sort of the first tours of Oasis. And like, oddly, I never knew that like the Lemonheads used to tour with Oasis quite a bit, and he'd like get on stage with them. Just like these really odd couplings from the early 90s. Yeah, and that's where I kind of heard about it all. And yes, I probably owe all of my musical taste to my elder brother.
We're going to play one more tune. It's off the new album.
Yeah.
It's the next single that's going to be coming off the new album.
Yeah.
And obviously this album's been quite a long time coming, and people who have been on your social media or your Facebook or whatever will know exactly the story behind that. So we won't go into that right now.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I won't say the hard time it's been in producing this album, but does that feel like there is more of a release, not release as in physical release as in emotional releasing, finally getting it over the line and getting people to hear it for the first time?
It's just nice to be able to finish a project. You see so many kind of germs of ideas and bands and projects not being ever fully realised. And I guess my fear with this record, after everything that went down with Pledge, was that it just wouldn't come out. And as part of that project, the digital release part of it was back in last September 2018. So that, to the people that have already got the record, this has been a long time now for it to come out. So to be thinking, oh, the album's coming out in September 2019, it's just like, well, I've had it for a year almost. But yeah, I'm just so pleased that it's going to make it out. And it's a slog, but it's a difficult business. Yeah. It is what it is. And you've just got to be resilient and just keep going. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
And you got there in the end. Right, so tell us a track that's going to finish off
so this song is the main single from the album. It's called Mercy Me.
Oh, mercy, it's a hard grind. Fell so hard, falling behind. No mercy, no rest. I drank all it my money could get. A hunger had burned deep in my chest. A fever had spun my head so west. Craving was a feeling that I knew best. Oh, mercy me. Where can a poor man go? Oh, mercy me. When the dam breaks slow, oh, mercy me. When I'm dust and bones, oh, mercy me. Oh, mercy me. Oh, mercy me. Oh, mercy, we're living in sin. Got a woman keeping me thin. Small mercies in the thick gloom. Screaming mercy in the bedroom. A hunger had burned deep in my chest. Fever had spun my head so west. Craving was a feeling that I knew best. Oh, mercy me. Where can a poor man go? Oh, mercy me. When the dam breaks slow, oh, mercy me. When I'm dust and bones, oh, mercy me. Oh, mercy me. Oh, mercy me. No mercy, no rest, no mercy, no rest, no mercy, no rest, no mercy, no rest. Hunger had burned deep in my chest. Fever had spoiled my head so west. Craving was a feeling that I knew best. Oh, mercy me. Where can a poor man go? Oh, mercy me. When the dam breaks slow, oh, mercy me. When I'm dust and bones, oh, mercy me. Oh, mercy me. Oh, mercy me.